In a previous video, we talked about how we can write fractions and mixed numbers as decimals. And we said that for rational numbers, there's two types of decimals. There's those that terminate, and there's those that repeat. Well, in this video, let's focus on how we can write a terminating decimal as a fraction, okay? Well, a terminating decimal as a fraction, it can be written as a fraction whose denominator is a power of 10. Because if our decimal terminates, it's going to end in the tenths, hundredths, thousandths, so on and so forth decimal place, which means we can add it, or we can make the decimal the numerator over 10, 100, 1000, so on and so forth. So when we do this, we may need to simplify the fraction by dividing out common factors. So let's jump right in. Number one, we have 0.4. We could read this as 4/10, right? Which means we could write it as 4 over 10. Now 4 and 10, they both have a common factor of 2, so let's divide out 2. So divide by 2, divide by 2. So 4 divided by 2 would be 2, and 10 divided by 2 would be 5. So my fraction for 0.4 would be 2/5. All right, number two, negative 0.125. So we have a negative here. Let's just make sure that we make our fraction negative at the end. So 0.125 means that we would have 125 over 1,000 because we have the tenths, the hundredths, and the thousandths place here. So we have 125 over 1,000, and 125 happens to be a factor of both of those numbers, right? So 125 divided by itself would be 1, and 1,000 divided by 125 would be 8. So we have 1 over 8, but remember we had a negative sign here, so this would be negative 1 over 8 for number 2. All right, number 3, we have 5.1. So here we could write this as a mixed number because we have whole number and we have a decimal part. So we have 5, and then this would be 1/10, right? So 5 and 1/10, and there is no simplifying that we have to do there. And the last one, number 4, is negative 12.25. So once again, we have our negative 12 here. That's our whole number part, and then we have 25 hundredths, okay? Now 25 can divide by itself, and we will also divide 100. 100 can be divided by 25 as well. So this is going to be negative 12 and 1/4. Okay? And that is how you can write some terminating decimals as fractions.